Hi guys, hope you're doing good, and today I'm going to be doing a long overdue CD update. This is going to be the first part of the contest winnings that I got from Simon Pieface all the way back in November, and basically this is going to be the first of 4 parts that's going to be going out throughout the year. Basically when I get to listen to them and talk about them. Simon sent me one hell of a package back in November for winning his contest. I think there's about 43 CDs in there, which was just absolutely unbelievable, and you can go back and watch the unboxing video, just the sheer amount of stuff that he sent me. 2 albums, however, I did already have. Trevor Hickey very kindly said that he would have them, so I sent them over to Trev, and he's got them, and I hope you're enjoying them, Trev, because they're 2 great albums, the Behemoth and the At the Gates albums. So yeah, basically in this video I have picked 9 albums out from the 40 that was left, and basically over the winter I've been listening to them on and off. However, yeah, it did take me a hell of a long time to get through them, because there was a lot of things that was going on, you know, the live streams, the rankings that we've been doing, just general life things, listening to other albums and other music. It's just been a bit of a grind to have the time to sit down and listen to these, but I finally have, and in this video I'm going to talk about them. And yeah, there's a quite a range of different things here, so without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. First up, I have got this. This is Byzantine, and the album is called And They Shall Take Up Serpents. It came out in 2005, and this is the band's 2nd album. They are on Metal Archives. They're a groove / thrash metal band. However, I think they're a lot more than that. Listening to this album, it's got some like progressive moments in there. Definitely kind of reminds me of Opeth a little bits. The vocals, some really great dynamic vocals. The guy goes from like your typical groove metal kind of shouty vocals, a bit like Phil Anselmo, but then he even does a little bit where he kind of does a bit of like a clean vocal, and then there's even bits where he sounds a little bit like Troy Saunders from Mastodon. So yeah, it's not what I expected, this album, but I really enjoyed it. It's a really great listen with lots of different passages, some great guitar playing, and yeah, lots of twists and turns throughout the album, and I really enjoyed it. And I've actually never heard of this band before this, so yeah, the first couple are going to be lesser known bands that I didn't know very well or had no idea what on earth it was. So yeah, that's the first one. Some really good stuff. Next up, a bit more on the thrash metal side, Nekromantheon, sorry. And this album is called Rise, Vulcan Spectre, and this is also their 2nd album as well. Come out in 2012, and this band are from Norway, and they play that sort of early like black and speed thrash at times. To me it sounded very much like the early Slayer albums, like Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits. Vocally kind of a little bit similar to Tom, but not quite. It definitely had that sort of black and speed edge. Some fantastic guitar solos on this album. Yeah, there's that's pretty much it. It's fast, it's frantic, you know, it's definitely got that classic thrash influence, but also has got that sort of blackened speed metal edge. Really, really good, actually. I really enjoyed this. Some excellent guitar solos, as I said. So I'll definitely be checking out more of them. Next up is a band called Cadaver, but on this album they were known as Cadaver Inc. And this album is called Discipline. Come out in 2001, and this is their third album. And this band is also from Norway, and they play sort of a mix of death metal, black metal, and thrash metal. And you definitely get that with this album. You can really hear the black metal on this one, especially on the first song, Primal. Very black metal sounding. The drumming is fantastic on here, like lots and lots of blast beats, and you know, incredibly fast at times. Some cool and interesting riffs and ideas, especially like towards the second half of the album. It kind of even does, dare I say it, even a little bit of like a progressive kind of sound to some of the songs, especially the what song was it? Snapper Organs, I think. That song definitely had a bit of a proggy bit in the middle of the song. Yeah, what else did I add here? Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to get into the album, however, because first time I heard it, it takes a couple of listens to get into it, but once I've gotten into it, I do like it a lot more now. I've listened to it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it's gotten better each listen. So yeah, definitely a grower, but a cool album nonetheless. Next up is another band that I did not know, but and that band is Nightrage, and this album is Descent into Chaos, their second album, and it's come out on Century Media. This band it's kind of like a super group, really. It's made up of Greek and Swedish musicians in the melodic death metal scene. Also features Gus G on guitar, and features Tom Lindberg from At the Gates on the vocals. And those two names definitely got me interested to listen to this, and that's why I picked it for one of the first ones to check out, because that interested me. And yeah, it's definitely in the melodic death metal style of the kind of mid 2000s. It sounded a little bit like Arch Enemy to me, in terms of the heaviness and obviously the melody that they use, but also just the crunch. There's some great vocals on here from Tom as well. Sounds brilliant on here. And there's even a song that's got some clean vocals, but I think that's done by somebody else. However, what I would say is I think this album slightly underuses Gus G and his ability, because he is a fantastic guitar player. But for me, I would have preferred some more solos and some more like craziness from Gus G on that guitar. That's really the only downer I've got on the album. But apart from that, it's a really good, solid melodic death metal album. Really heavy, very groovy, very catchy, and yeah, really, really good stuff. So now we're going to move on to the more well-known stuff. And speaking of At the Gates, not only did Simon send me With Fear, I Kissed the Burning Darkness, which I already had, but he also sent me Slaughter of the Soul, which is one that I didn't have, and one that I've been after for quite a while, to be fair. Yeah, everyone knows this album. It's an absolute melodic death metal classic. Whether it's overrated or underrated, or whether it gets enough praise or too much praise, is up for debate. But for me personally, I hadn't actually listened to this for quite a while. I remember when I first got into the band and I listened to it, but I hadn't really listened to it since. So really nice to listen to it again properly on a CD rather than on streaming. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic album. I think it's definitely deserving of the praise that it gets. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a groundbreaking album for melodic death metal, because I personally would think that Heartwork is that album. You know, this album sort of just took it up to the next level, and then obviously other bands came along and really went with it. But yeah, you can't deny the importance of this album, and it is a great album. It was, you know, it was absolutely brilliant to listen to it again properly. And this one includes some bonus tracks as well, which is really cool. A couple of covers, which includes a Slayer cover, a couple of demos, and one unreleased track called The Dying, which is really cool. Yeah, great album. Great album. So that's that. I'm sure people in the comments will be saying that it's overrated and all that, but whatever. I liked it. I thought it was a good album. Next up is another band from Sweden that I've actually never listened to before, and this was quite an interesting experience for me. And the band is Dismember. This is When Iron Crosses Grow, their 6th album from 2004. And yeah, this is my first time listening to the band. I know it's probably not, it's probably not their greatest album they've ever done. It's probably not really the ideal album to listen to first, but for what it is, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know where this would rank for a lot of people with Dismember, but personally I thought it was pretty good. Had some like fast punky kind of moments, some more mid-paced groovy moments throughout that kind of sounded a little bit like Bolt Thrower, but with the HM2 sound. I like the vocals, I like the riffs. There was even one song on here, I think it was track 3, Me God, that sounded, there's like a bit in the middle that sounded a bit like Iron Maiden, and I really liked that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good for what it is. I know like the first couple of albums is where it's at with this band, but listening to this for the first time, and first time listening to the band, I thought it was a pretty good start, and I definitely would like to check out more from Dismember. Next up, we got 3 left, and this is another Swedish band, Arch Enemy, and this is their debut album, Black Earth. And yeah, again, I have listened to some Arch Enemy, but I've never listened to the first era of the band with the original vocalist, Johan, I think his name's Johan Lever. Yeah, I'd never listened to them before, so that was fun. I thought it was a really good album. I liked his vocals. It kind of sounded a little bit like Dave Ingram to me. I mean, it's very raw compared to like the ones that they would do with Angela and Alyssa. Obviously, the production's a lot more on the raw side. It definitely had like the Heartwork sound with a little bit of what Arch Enemy would go on to do with their future albums. Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, obviously you got some really good guitar playing from the Amott brothers. They are just absolutely fantastic guitarists. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And this version comes with a couple of bonus tracks, an extra track, and 2 Iron Maiden covers, which were really cool. The Ides of March and Aces High, they were quite interesting. So it would be cool to hear Arch Enemy do like a full Iron Maiden covers album. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, that's that. Arch Enemy. Definitely want to listen to some more of them because they've done loads of albums. I've hardly listened to them. Right, okay, so now the last 2 are albums that I had already listened to but didn't own, and I'm just really happy to now own them. Thanks to Simon. I really appreciate it. So yeah, this one, Evile, Infected Nations, their 2nd album, And this is just a modern day thrashter piece for me. I think this album is absolutely fantastic. Some awesome musicianship throughout, brilliant guitar playing, you know, excellent drumming. It kind of reminds me a lot of Unjustice for All. It's kind of like, this is what Metallica could have been if they had carried on doing the Injustice for All kind of thing. It is, you know, it's a little bit progressive. You know, there's lots of different twists and turns. It's not just full-on thrash metal throughout the whole thing. You know, as I said, the music is just absolutely brilliant on here. Excellent solos. I really like the vocals. Matt Drake really does his best Hetfield impression on here, which is cool. Yeah, just an absolutely fantastic album. I'm really happy to finally have it in my collection, because those Evile albums are not easy to come across. And also the same for this band as well, Shadows Fall, and this is Of One Blood. This come out in 2000. This is the first album that they did on Century Media, and also the first album to feature Brian Fair on the vocals, because the first one had Phil LaBronte, and then he went on to do All That Remains after this. And yeah, this is a really cool album. I had listened to it before, but it was just cool to listen to it again. Mixes that melodic death metal with a bit of metalcore in there. Obviously, great guitar playing from John D.I.E. I think he's an absolutely fantastic guitar player. Bit underrated, I think he's excellent. And yeah, this album's got a couple of tracks from the debut album as well that they re-recorded, which is pretty cool. I really love Crushing Belial. Flesh Holes, really good as well. Revel in My Loss, absolutely fantastic. Two Ashes as well, Serenity, really, really good stuff on here. And really happy to have that. Because the Shadows Fall are not actually that easy to come across. I do have a couple more that I purchased in December, and I'll definitely be listening to those two next. So that was this latest CD update. I'd love to know your thoughts on any of the albums that I've talked about today, whether you know them and what you think of them. Next, I'll be doing another CD update at some point with stuff that I got in December. And I haven't even had a chance to listen to them yet, because I've just had so much going on and so many other albums I've been listening to, obviously them, and I've just put it all back. I only literally just unsealed them the other day. It was just, you know, it's just been absolutely insane. But yeah, I'll be listening to those, and then I'll probably do an update on them. And then in the future, I'll be doing the next part of this crazy like contest winnings from Simon. Really appreciate Simon, and you know, all the support that he's given me and all the CDs that he's given me. Really do appreciate it, and haven't seen Simon on YouTube for a while, so hope he's doing all right. If you're seeing this, Simon, hope you're doing all right, man. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Contest deadline is over by the time this video goes out. It's over, and the draw will be this week on the 16th. So yeah, that's that. Hope you enjoyed the stream that we did on Saturday. And yeah, there's going to be plenty more stuff on the way. So yeah, if you got this far, thanks ever so much for watching. Until the next time, keep it metal.